Welcome to this Alpha Constructions Explainer. Today we are going to unlock a really powerful strategy for managing those large, complex projects, the kind we all live and breathe. It's all about moving past the usual friction and turning those big challenges into even bigger wins.
So let's start with a question I think everyone in our industry has faced. Why is it that so many big projects with brilliant people with solid engineering get bogged down in conflict, overruns, and delays? Well, the answer, more often than not, isn't actually in the blueprints. It's in the relationships we build, or maybe fail to build, right from day one.
To really get a handle on the solution, we first have to dissect the problem. And that means we need to take a good, hard look at the traditional arm's-length approach to contracting that has really dominated our industry for decades.
Right, the old way, it's all built on this really sharp divide. An owner specifies exactly what they want and then puts it out for a competitive bid. The supplier's job, just deliver on that spec and that's it. But this new relational way, well, it completely flips that script. It's about defining the project together, collaborating from the very beginning and sharing expertise. It's a totally different dynamic.
And the cost of these limits? It's huge. Think about it. When suppliers, the folks with that deep, practical, hands-on expertise, are locked out of the design phase, incredible opportunities for innovation are just lost, gone before they even have a chance. That rigid cutoff point means all the flexibility is gone once the contract is signed. And what does that do? It often creates this adversarial us versus them mindset instead of a unified team.
Okay, so the good news is there is a much, much better way. It's a strategic shift, moving away from those rigid transactional contracts and moving toward true collaborative partnering. And that brings us to the core concept here, relational contracting. Now, this isn't just about a friendly handshake, okay? It's a formal project structure, and it's designed for mutual influence and shared innovation. It's the difference between just buying a predefined service and actually building a collaborative team to solve a complex problem together.
So this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually put it into practice? Well, the research gives us a simple but incredibly powerful framework that breaks down project structures into 4 distinct models. And here it is. This entire framework really just boils down to a simple 2x2 matrix. It's all based on 2 key questions. First, across the top, who is sponsoring the project? Is it a single owner or a coalition of partners? And then down the side, what's the execution dynamic? Are we using that traditional arm's length method, or is it relational? So let's break down what each of these 4 models looks like.
First up, we have our baseline, traditional sponsorship. This is the classic model we were just talking about. One single owner, arm's length contracts. And look, for a straightforward, well-understood project, say a standard warehouse build, this can work just fine. But that rigidity, it becomes a major liability when complexity and uncertainty start to creep in.
Now this is where things get interesting. Model 2, partners in design and execution. Here, you've still got that solo owner, but they've made a crucial shift to a relational approach. So imagine we're building a highly specialized data center. Instead of just bidding out the plans, the owner brings Alpha Constructions and our key power and cooling specialists in on day 1 to co-design the facility. That is Model 2 in action.
There's this great quote from an executive in the study that just perfectly captures the dynamic of Model 2. He said, "It's a partnership, but we all know who the boss is. It's genuine collaboration with shared ideas, but ultimately, the sponsor is still in the driver's seat. It's partnership, but with clear leadership."
Next, we have Model 3, partners in ownership. Here, the partnership is happening at the sponsor level. So you have a coalition of firms, they all team up to fund and own the project. But, and this is the key difference, they still use that old arm's length process to hire the firms who are actually going to build it. Think of something like a public-private partnership for a new toll road. A group of investment firms owns the deal, but they might still hire a firm like us at Alpha Constructions through a traditional bid to do the heavy lifting.
And that brings us to the most integrated approach of all, Model 4, relational development and execution. This is where you get true, deep alignment. A coalition sponsors the project, and the execution is relational. In this scenario, Alpha Constructions might not just bid on a project. We might join a consortium to help finance it, design it, build it, and maybe even operate a new hospital. Our skin is in the game, from the absolute top to the absolute bottom.
This level of integration is an absolute game changer. The ownership group, the concessionaire, has a direct line to the executing joint venture because, well, they're often made up of the very same partners. The structure is the key to superior performance. And how superior are we talking? Some projects using this model achieved a stunning 25% reduction in construction costs. That's massive. So, why does all this matter for a firm like Alpha Constructions? Why does it matter to you? Because understanding this framework isn't just academic. It gives us a huge strategic advantage by helping us approach every single project smarter than the competition.
And here's the most crucial point. There is no single best practice. The idea that one model, whether it's turnkey or design-build, is always the answer, that's a total myth. The most successful firms understand that the best approach depends entirely on the unique context of the project. So this gives us a clear strategic process. First, we analyze a project's unique challenges. Second, we consciously choose which of these 4 models is the best fit. And only then, third, do we select the management practices that are going to support that specific structure. By doing this, we're not just managing a project anymore. We're strategically shaping its success right from day one.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. As you look at your pipeline of projects, ask yourself, which of these models is going to give our next big project its winning edge? Because understanding these options isn't just about avoiding problems. It's the key to unlocking new value, driving real innovation, and choosing the right way to build together.